So guys, we're back on Aubrey Barker Road in South Ruimveldt Gardens. We started our tour of South Ruimveldt Gardens 2 days ago, and we want to continue from where we left off. We want to look at Aubrey Barker Road, how things are changing in South Ruimveldt Gardens, and some of the streets in the gardens, South Ruimveldt Gardens. So this is the junction. We're just coming off of the junction, right where the roundabout was built, and where it intersects with East Bank Bypass Road. This is Greenheart Street, and what we're doing is taking a hike along Aubrey Barker Road to see what is happening along this stretch of South Ruimveldt Gardens and how things are changing in this neck of the woods. Now there's still a fair amount of vacant land in this reserve between the two communities, South Ruimveldt on this side, South Ruimveldt Gardens on this side, and on the other side, Tuckville and Festival City. Bringing you to those in a future video, but for today what we want to do is show you how things are changing in this neck of the woods. That's the Moravian Church. That's the Moravian Church and the church building. So they're here in South Ruimveldt Gardens. These are some modified homes, right? So these homes were once wooden houses that were renovated and modified into concrete homes. Moravian Church is still in this location. They're occupying now prime real estate in South Ruimveldt. This is in fact one of the residential housing developments that was built during the Burnham administration back in the 1970s. And in fact, if you visited South Ruimveldt Gardens in the 1970s, it didn't look like what it looks like today. And that is what we're trying to determine. So this is an empty plot of land. I don't remember if there was any building in this plot, but it's prime real estate. It's prime real estate here at this intersection, and you can imagine on this side seems to be the beer garden, some kind of eatery. That's Hand in Hand Auto Insurance Company here in South Ruimveldt Gardens. It's a rainy season, so now this building, I've actually taken a look inside. This is a condominium that was built about 10 years ago, and now it's available for rent. So you can rent an apartment here. I think the rent is somewhere around $200,000 a month now. Somebody was asking for what is the price of housing. When last time I investigated, about 7 or 8 years ago, the price to rent a unit in this building, it was about $140,000, $150,000 a month. But I expect after 7 years it might be closer to $200,000 now, which is about closer to $1,000 a month. So you can think of renting in Guyana. If you're thinking of renting in Guyana, it's going to cost you about $600 a month US to about $1,000 a month. If you have, a small family, you're trying to rent a 2-bedroom condominium. if you want to buy some of these homes, somebody's asking what are the prices of some of these homes. Well, the prices are actually escalating. They're going up rapidly because of the demand, right? Because of all of the growth, the economic growth in the country in the last, 5 years, and population growth because of all the people migrating to Guyana. Barometer, we've listed this street before in a previous video, so we're going to go down the next street. Yeah, because of all of the growth in the demand for housing and foreign investors coming in and are willing to pay a lot of money for these houses. These houses are now fetching on the order of $500,000 US. In some cases, depending on the size and location, right? It's kind of ridiculous when you consider the fact that these are not houses located in North America, right? So I will actually contact some of the real estate agents listed on the sale of these properties and get the prices for specific houses, so you can get an idea of what the real estate market looks like in Guyana, because some people are interested in buying and they want to know how much they can expect to pay for residential property in, say, a place like South Ruimveldt Gardens. I'm going to do that in a future video. In the meantime, let's do a assessment. It's sort of a tour of these neighborhoods so that we can see how things are changing. This building is being prepared for sale. It's being prepared for sale. Apparently it was eatery, right? It was Keisha's Crab Shack we saw in the previous video. But Keisha's Crab Shack is now listed. It's now listed for sale. I'm going to contact these real estate agents here, or you can too, right? The numbers are on the sign, right? One Nation Realty, there's Rampersad, there's McMaraj, that's Remax, and you can inquire about the price, current listing of this home. But all you want to do right now is just take a look at how things are changing. Morning. Here on High Palm Road. So this is High Palm Road. And what we're going to do is take a look at how things are changing on High Palm Road in South Ruimveldt Gardens. That's Keisha's Crab Shack. That's the building that's for sale, where you can find out what it's being listed for. And on this side you can see some of the original homes have been rebuilt into what look like. Okay, so this one has, you can still see the remnants of the initial home, the initial wooden home that was built. And now these are being renovated. Whatever was built before was torn down and it's now being renovated. So this is South Ruimveldt Gardens, High Palm Road. This is Kiskadee Drive. Right, this is Kiskadee Drive in South Ruimveldt Gardens, and this is what Kiskadee Drive looks like in 2023. Homes once looks like these, right? These were the original homes, but now people have renovated their homes to look much more like their personal preference, their style. So some of the renovations started out with just concrete structures replacing the original but this in fact is what the original home looked like. This is what original South Ruimveldt Gardens homes looked like, and now they're being renovated to look much more like, well, in the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, they were renovated to become larger, right? Larger homes like this. And then, right, this is what they were originally, and then they started being renovated to look like this here on Kiskadee Drive in the 1980s, 1990s. Very quickly people started renovating their homes, building bigger and changing them from wooden houses into concrete structures. Now more recently in 2020, in the 2010s, they started looking like this. These were styles that were imported from North America and, you know, Canada and the US. So instead of building homes that in the style that was original, this is typically what the homes were built to look like. Instead of building the homes over what are you guys building here? What are you building, a house?
Yes, sir.
Good, very nice.
Wonderful, wonderful. What's the YouTube channel here?
Raffle Nation.
Raffle Nation?
Yep. So this is what the homes looked like initially. And this is what they're being built to look like now. Right, so initially when they were modified in the 1980s, people simply turned wooden structures into concrete structures, you know, sort of enclosed the bottom flat and turned upstairs into concrete. But now in the 2020s, this is what they started looking like. People started rebuilding their homes from scratch. In other words, they would demolish whatever was there before and build something bigger and much more North American in its architecture. So in the 1980s and the 1990s, the homes that were being renovated were kept in the style of the original architecture. In other words, these were renovated in the 1980s and 1990s. They might have been built slightly bigger, but they kept the same form factor, right? The same style. Enclosing downstairs, you can see the clay brick, right? So the clay brick is reminds us of a time when we had a clay brick factory, and a lot of the homes were actually being built with clay brick. But then in the 2000s and beyond, they started looking like this, right? So here on Kiskadee Drive, a lot of the renovations are still ongoing. This is what came after the 2010s and 2020s. I suppose this one was built after 2020. You can see the architecture with the horizontal lines in the balcony, reminiscent of what is currently the architecture. So this is what is happening in 2023. Right, the homes are being renovated from their original format to look much more like North American homes, but what is great is that some of the homes are still in the original architecture. All right, some of the homes are still in the form that they were originally built. I remember this was in fact one of the desired and desirable neighborhoods to live in, right? This is one of the desired and desirable neighborhoods to live in. Now, they're being renovated into much, much more massive homes, into mansions. Here we're back on High Palm after taking a detour on Kiskadee Drive. And this is what is being built here in the 2020s and beyond. Right, 2020s and beyond, as we take a turn towards the back, that is the Caneview Avenue. Right, this is what, and this seems to be a large reserve. It seems as if this is the kind of reserve that was kept for building a wide road. So maybe there's going to be a double lane highway running parallel to East Bank Bypass in future. Right, High Palm Road here in South Ruimveldt Gardens. That's what it looks like in 2023. We've looked at some of these homes on High Palm in the past. Right, this is some of the renovations here, or some of the changes, the modifications here on High Palm. And Caneview Avenue. So this, on the other side of Caneview, is all plantation land, sugar plantation land. I think we saw some of these before. These homes are recently renovated. Some of them are, right? Recently modified and renovated homes. Others, you can see the red brick, right? The clay brick indicates that these were the ones that were built in the 1980s when there was a clay brick factory, and others were built in the 1990s and the 2000s. So this is what's happening here, guys. Morning. So this is what's happening here on Caneview Avenue in South Ruimveldt Gardens. We head back towards Barometer. Right, this is